Woo! Yeah, you better watch it, y'all. But with that, guys, society's dumber than ever. So welcome back to another episode of Ancient Wisdom, episode 42. Gotta watch it, that's all I got to say.
I agree, though. We are dumber than ever.
Evan said last week that, racism was getting a little old. And I'd have to agree, but there's good news. Evan.
It's ending?
Racism is coming to an end. Jamal Bowman.
Whoa!
Reparation plan. Guys, it's done. We're going to give the blacks their money. And they'll never talk about it again.
I thought that was Jam Aal.
In fact, we'll be even. Jam Baal?
There's two. I've never seen two A's like that before.
Oh, Jam Ma'al. Oh, you know, that reminds me. Yo, I won't make references too early, but that reminds me of Baal in the Bible. Another name for Satan.
They had, what else did they call him? They called him...
Molech.
I never heard that one.
Beelzebub. Beelzebub.
Beelzebub, yeah.
Beelzebub was a big one.
And Queen.
And I think that's this guy right now. Jesus needs to take some spirits out of him because he's dying. Do you guys remember that story?
Each?
What's that? Oh, yeah. I think over 300,000
I was
each.
doing some quick math in my head.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's a trillion.
14 trillion. Yeah, how many blacks are in America? They're like 13% of America, and we have like 350 million.
So let's say 30 million. Let's say 10%. Let's round it up to 40 to get what you said. Maybe say 50 million.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
I could see that.
Sounds right.
And so one of those things. And this is the guy who pulled the fire alarm. Am I wrong? Remember this?
That's him.
That's the same guy, right? Jamal Bowman. He pulled the fire alarm during a vote. During a Congress session. Can you believe this, Poach?
Yeah.
Dog, he pulled the fire alarm to get out of the vote. Like he's a fucking high school delinquent.
There's a lot to say about him just from that action.
Yeah, but I think he's got the right idea. I think racism is going to come to an end. And nobody will ever talk about it again. So
they're going to start paying for their stuff now because they have the money.
I think so too. I think, everybody will now participate in the economy. There will be no more violence.
They just need a little money for bread and milk.
Yeah, that's right. Dude, did you hear the story about the guy who was making millions of dollars in the NBA and he still stole from Target or something like that and got kicked off the team? Bro!
I did not hear.
I mean, I'm not saying it's genetic, but it's at least cultural. Come on.
It's the thrill of the chase.
The thrill, right. Oh, I stole. No. Even though you're making millions of dollars, you can't play.
That might be misinformation. I think he just needed to because he spent all of his money on a home for his mother.
Therefore, he was lacking on that bread money. That bread for that bread. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Well, racism may have died until you guys see this. It's Howard University's new line of Air Jordans. Well, actually, no, it's an Air Jordan museum.
Ooh.
So Howard doesn't have its own Air Jordans. They're just doing an Air Jordan museum.
Yep, they just have an Air Jordan wall. That's what they're showcasing.
Are you serious? Wow, culture, am I right?
And I'm thinking, wow, an entire university when Michael Jordan has nothing to do with them.
And it's got like the stereotypical black music. It's just heavy bass and like
huge 808s and nothing.
Dude, where's Michael Jordan in all this?
That's what I'm thinking.
You have a Jordan museum and you just show off the shoes?
That's what I said. What is Howard University's purpose if this is what they're putting out on their social media?
Guys, come on. Like, we're supposed to break this, right? Can we all agree?
I doubt they designed the shoes either.
Oh, no way. Yeah. But you're playing into the black thing. Oh, blacks like sneakers. But if I say that, I get in trouble. But Howard University, Pose, you know about Howard University. It's a historically like only black school.
I know
HBCU.
now.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's like, what's that?
HBCU, a historically black college or university.
Is that they got a little
HBCU.
acronym for it?
And Anthony Cumia's caption was priorities, and he did like a laughing face.
Yeah.
Because shoes, nothing they designed, nothing they made there at a factory at the school.
Yeah.
The students have nothing to do with Air Jordan.
It's just like fashion. Like things that you wear.
Yeah.
And how that is, I don't know how that's important to like a college, a further higher educational institution.
And I can't tell really if these basketball shoes are more intended for basketball or style.
Yeah.
I never was able to figure it out.
I lost that fight long ago, dude. I think it's really just for style. Nobody's playing in that because they're too scared to play in it. I saw this video of Kanye, like, took off his sneakers because there was a puddle and walked through the puddle in his fucking socks. In his socks. So he didn't want to get his shoes dirty. So he walked through a puddle in his socks.
He's totally neglecting the usage of the shoe, my friend. It's meant to keep your foot dry.
Boom. It's like somewhere along the way we lost the definition of a shoe. Is there another pair of shoes in his limo? Probably. But still, ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, I bet you
Anyway.
some black people with enough money have like a backup shoe popping out of their
for
glove
sure.
compartment.
Yeah,
or something
Kanye
like
could
that.
do it. The average dude at Howard cannot, unless he steals those sneakers from the wall.
That's what the comments were. It was just like, wait until that place gets looted.
It ain't gonna last. You dig your grave, baby. But guys, not to worry. We're all right. It's gonna be fine. Poj, could you read that for me?
Yeah, sure, man. So the doomsday clock stays at 90 seconds to midnight.
That's where we are. BBC reports.
A minute and a half.
You guys heard about this? I think it was started by Oppenheimer, talking about like how close we are to nuclear Armageddon. And if you scroll down, you'll see like where we've been in the past.
I've heard about it. So in 1947, it appeared for the first time. We had 7 minutes to midnight.
Right.
And that's, I guess, when like nukes were like a thing. For the first time,
the
right?
tension's already starting.
Yeah. And then Soviets tested in 1949. They set it to 3, so the clock got narrower. End of the Cold War, 91. So it actually reversed. They were like, oh, it's cool. 91 is chill.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The Cold War ended. They're like, okay, things are calming down a little bit. Mm-hmm. India, Pakistan got it. North Korea got it. We're like, we don't trust those guys.
Yeah, it's getting narrower. Yeah,
we're getting closer to midnight, which is like the nuclear winter, whatever.
When they make these brands like the midnight doomsday clock or whatever, it seems to me like it's meant to instill fear into a lot of people.
Oh, for sure.
100%.
I mean, it's all bullshit, like, to be honest. But I just think it's so funny that now we are closer than ever, they say. Mm-hmm. And I gotta say, like, it's not feeling like bullshit anymore when they say something like that. That's just a way to visually represent how we're all feeling, I think.
Yeah,
does it not feel that way?
How tense the situation is.
How tense we all are. There's a war over here. There's a war over there. These people don't like these people. There's race tensions. There's religion tensions. And speaking of which, why does it always feel like the world is ending? Go!
I think we have absolutely no opportunity for anyone our generation. That's why it feels like it's
I like it. Evan, what do you got?
Because we don't want to have families.
That's very like definitional, right? The world's ending because there's no families or no people to have the world.
And that's Elon's like biggest talking point, I suppose, lately, that we've got a depopulation problem.
Oh yeah, he was the first one that said depopulation. Everyone for years was talking about population, am I right? Mm-hmm. And then he was the first one to kind of say, hey, we're not having enough kids, to be honest.
Yep.
Yeah. And okay, so I'm gonna go with that. So why is that, dog? My thesis to this section is that women are taking over. I think that's why. Women have taken over every aspect of everything. And I really got to thinking about it. I said, when did this all start? Why are we allowing this? Sure, women to vote, and then birth control kind of changed how women think, changed how women can act, societally acceptable, let's say. And then I got to thinking about my own life. And I think I was already born way beyond this stuff. I never had a chance. I mean, look what I grew up with.
Hi there.
Do you remember this?
I don't, but
I do.
In the middle of my face.
This is the most like, oh my God.
This must be early 90s Nick Jr.
I remember Face.
This is the guy that raised me.
Yeah.
A homosexual face on television.
That's who raised you.
Hit the next one. And then I'd like... wait.
It's so creepy. No, we can't watch it. It's too messed
Hit the
up.
next one. Yeah, there's one more.
Hi there. Face here. And I'm eating spaghetti.
I remember the voice. Isn't this the same
This
voice
sure is
as,
a long
what's his
piece of
name on Blue's
spaghetti.
Clues?
I
Guy?
bet, dude.
He's on drugs. That's like inducing
I'm
a
almost
psychosis
at the
right there.
end.
Bro, so between the shows, they
Here
would
it
play this
comes.
face who eats spaghetti or whatever, and he
There
introduces
we
the
are.
next show.
And just in time because
All right, get rid of this. This is
Allegra's
freaking me out.
window.
What the hell?
You don't remember that? Evan?
That's really creepy.
You don't remember
I
that,
think
dude?
I missed that 2 years.
That was my father and mother.
Which one?
face.
The green one was the mom.
Yeah, exactly. I've got an apple for a nose. And I'm like, dog, why do we treat kids like retards?
I don't know.
Do we have an answer for that?
I was wondering where you're going from the previous topic. I was like,
it's
how
very
does this
fun. I
relate
have a
to the
theory.
end of the world?
I have a theory.
Yeah,
I've got a method.
That's true. We talk down to kids. We've normalized
We
talking
do.
down to kids.
And where did that come from? The woman. Dog.
Yep. You're stupid. I know best.
Yeah, but frankly, it's just like, no, sweetie.
Yeah, that's retarded.
Understanding. I wish you'd say that's retarded, dude. They don't even say that. They're just like, you're special, and you can make mistakes in your own way. And I've got an apple for a nose. It's cute, right? And the dad would be like, hello, son. How are you today? What'd you get done today? What do you plan on doing? Here's this job in the real world, this factual, real job. Let's do it together as a team. I think we baby kids, at 3 years old, I've met more mature kids sometimes. They know what you're saying. They don't need to be talked down to. What made us do this?
Infantilize till they die.
And now we're doing it all, till they die. And my argument is that the women has brought upon this society because of all this fake stuff, like trying to be cool. Like nothing's more cringe, I was thinking about the other day, than like a woman trying to act ghetto or something like that. Because it's a cultural thing, because the rappers do it, because
You
it's
don't
cool.
like Nicki Minaj?
And she's talking all ghetto. Yeah, Nicki Minaj, exactly. And I'm like, you're not hood. You're a woman. You have never gone through anything. Like, you have just been used for sex. Like, think about it. You never sold drugs. You've never been in the cut, because if you did, you'd be...
A woman told me the other day that she got out of 10 traffic violations because she's like, it goes a long way to be nice and to say, how are you doing to the officer? I'm like,
Nice.
I was just
blew him.
roasting her. I was just like, I wonder if I could do that 10 times.
Yeah.
And I was just mocking what the officers must sound like. Oh, she's just so nice. I can't give her a ticket
They don't
today.
understand. And they see like dudes
struggling.
having fun and telling jokes and being cool, and they think they could get in on that. And then they legislate it, and then they demand that they need to be in on it. But that was never the case. That was never your role. You're stepping on toes. So I got a video here to show you about some cool guys. Cool. This is just a fun thing that I found over the weekend. Did you see what happened? It's a real short, quick. This is a rare footage of 2001. Randy Johnson pitching a fastball and killed a bird. He got in the way.
Wow, I want to
Poor
watch that
guy.
like so many times.
Yeah, I know, dude.
Okay, I
the
gotta
bird
stop.
explodes. And this dude had the record for the fastest fastball at the time. Maybe even still.
106 or something.
Yeah, something insane.
crazy.
That bird is just-
was evaporated.
Didn't have a chance.
That bird is no more.
Man, and you know what? You know what Randy Johnson probably did at home?
That's right.
He didn't do the dishes. And he didn't do the laundry.
And he didn't need to defeather that bird. He just cooked it up. Poach, let me know about you, but through my religious education growing up, they kind of leave certain things out.
Do not think that I have come to bring peace on earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword.
Maybe that's about it, dog. We thought Jesus was all about peace, and I think the women are like thinking Jesus is a fairy skipping through the fields. Am I right? Do you get that idea when people talk about Jesus sometimes? He's a hippie.
Yes.
He just said he's not bringing peace. He didn't come to unite. He came to divide. Sorry, Poach, what were you saying?
Jesus came to tell the truth no matter what it cost.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's facts.
He was like, I don't
dude.
care what you guys think.
The truth.
This is God.
Yeah, this is God. And the God is truth, and the word is God, and God is the word, and God is life. And I think we think Jesus is some soft homo a lot of times, especially with the Catholics now.
He knew that there would be pain and suffering after he talked.
Yes.
He knew that stuff would go down.
He called all of this
Cutting
stuff.
through that fake news with the sword.
Yeah, bro. And how deep is that? Like, how it even like shakes me a little bit hearing it. It's really not what you expect based on our feminized society. I did not come to bring peace. What? I thought you're the Prince of Peace. I thought all this stuff. Nah, I came to divide with the sword. But what does that mean? The division is the truth from the lies. I think that's sort of my concluding paragraph. And the lie is sort of the feminine, is sort of like making you feel better, which perhaps an argument could be made. It's appropriate in certain circumstances, but the truth needs to be foundational. The truth needs to be known.
So the world is pretty black and white in that sense, then you would say.
I certainly think so.
You're telling the truth or you're lying.
When it really matters, right? When suffering and pain and death is on the line,
Honesty.
and the destruction of our way of life and our country, I think it's very important. And I think there's a huge deficit of that kind of energy in our world. So I just want to bring it to a sort of philosophical / pseudo spiritual realm here for a second. And I don't even know how to put this, but it's an idea that's been in the back of my mind, talking about if society is based on women and we sort of cater to women at every tier, every level of society, does it create something deeper? Does it actually create culture? You know what I mean? So what I mean by that is I've seen countless people kind of just giving up, countless men just giving up, giving into the woman. They don't need a virgin anymore. They don't even need a woman who's younger than them. They don't even have a job because the jobs are given to illegals and women. So in fact, they need to get an older woman who has a better job and a house and stability and endless bodies. They have sacrificed themselves for the sake of surviving. And I also have a question that goes along with that, which is how has the species survived this long? Like procreation, is it not in all cases, but is it usually for the stupid idiocracy style?
Well, I don't think the divide is creating a new culture. I think it just destroys culture, period,
right,
in general.
Oh, there is a culture.
Yep.
And this is the death of culture.
And that's like the duality of everything again. The
that's
the
a cool
truth and
take.
the lie, the men and the woman. It's just like you have culture or you don't, because you try to create these false roles between each other. And women, women aren't even, it's not even creating a new culture because they know deep in their heart and their soul that something is wrong here.
Yeah. You know, they definitely do.
Yeah. They just don't know how to emphasize it or put it into words.
Does that resonate with you, Poge? I'm feeling that.
People say that, like we don't need male and female roles anymore because we have this modern society where everyone's
it's
equal.
different. It's new culture.
I don't agree.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure that like we are still built as a species as to have the men does their stuff and the woman does their stuff. I don't care if we have advanced computer technology, offices, ringtones, and notifications.
Still the same.
I still think there's a role where those do better in others and those do better in the others.
In general, I would have to agree. So I like that. That's like a restating, but like a more concise way of saying what Evan said, where it's like there is a culture, there is a way, a logos, the word, but we have strayed from that way. And this is not a counterculture. This is the death of culture. This is us knowing what's real, us knowing the truth, and choosing death.
And what hurts my art is that it's still men running the feminist movement. So women aren't even at the helm of everything that they're trying to accomplish in the name of women. It's a man still like calling all the shots behind the scenes. In the early 1900s, the suffragettes were basically government intelligence that created the feminist movement, the first wave one, that is.
Oh, yeah. Not to mention just like giving women jobs.
Yep.
The big business kind of doubles the amount of workers, double the amount of profits.
The suffragettes were just terrorists, dude. They were a bunch of women that Molotov cocktailed buildings.
God, and the women are the word is agreeable. Women are agreeable. It's the best word I've ever heard to describe a woman because they just say yes. They go along with it. I'm like, I'm sad. They're like, oh, okay, what can I do?
Right.
There's no fixing it. There's no why are you sad? It's like yes. It's accepting of everything. So if I say, hey, you should smoke a bunch of cigarettes, you should have a job, you should have sex with a bunch of guys, you should take these pills. They're like, yes, I don't see why not. In fact, I am mad that I haven't been able to do that.
Not to mention the
You're
people,
being deceived.
Not to mention the people they love on television doing the same thing as an extra encouragement.
And men can't really get in the way of Satan to that magnitude, where it's the media, where it's big business, where it's prevailing culture. It all hits a brick wall.
I think you can. You just have to be so flawless in your dealing with them.
I could see it, and it feels like always an individual person by person basis. Like I said, procreation, like there's certainly people who deserve to procreate, but tell me what you think about this.
Go on.
But I tend to think it's the vast majority who do procreate that should not. When we think about women, it's tough because we really do love them so much, and they are the reason, the ikigai in Japanese, the reason for being the other half, the yin to the yang. And yet, they seem to betray us recently. But they are the original Muse, and Poj has a thing or two to say about that.
Heck yeah, Mitch, I'll go into it. So I'll start with a question. What qualities do you need to be an artist?
That's a good question.
Passion comes to mind. Without passion and, the love of art, there's no purpose in doing it. You got to have passion. But passion alone, you can't produce anything with just passion. You need the drive. You need the execution. You have to actually do it.
The skill. I like to call it bringing heaven to earth.
Sure. So that's all within you. But beyond yourself, there's another thing that is this external muse.
Yes.
This thing this input that is the input.
I like that. Let me stop you right there, Paul.
You go.
So you're saying that you are the medium. The person is the medium. He has to do the thing. He has to create the art. But the art comes from elsewhere.
It comes from elsewhere, but yes, like you said it well. You have to tune your body to be accepting of that external source.
Accepting is a good word. You have to accept it. I feel like so many times the biggest thing that gets in the way of art is ourselves, is the denial of that
source. And I think that you hit it right on the head. I think the art is always knocking. I think the muse is always trying. The muse is always trying to get in, but we're not ready, or we don't have, or we're not even in the house. The muse is not. The muse is knocking. The muse is knocking, but we're not even.
The lights are on, but nobody's home. Baby.
We're not even there.
I feel that
to answer the door.
It's so
like
true.
Your talents are shackled down, almost like they can't escape because of fear of judgment or critique or whatever it is.
Man, do you guys attribute that to a lack of presence too? Because I swear to God, sometimes I have so many conversations and I don't see life in people's eyes. They are not here. If you really pay attention, guys, really pay attention. The world, the ancient wisdom is about the moment. Break it down, slow it down, look at the person. Are you even here right now? Do you even know what you're saying? Do you even have a real opinion? Are you spitting out something that you heard before? Are you home when the muse knocks?
Mm-hmm. And I think I would go to add to that to say, you can't even, the muse will give you something, but you can't even process it. Like maybe you'll be able to accept it. But
true, you don't speak of the language sometimes.
That's just letting the muse in.
Yeah.
You can accept it.
Talks in Morse code, knocking on the door.
But then once the muse is in the house, you have to be able to actually accept it and have the conversation and then actually output what the muse gave you.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, those are two big ones. I like that a lot.
Yeah. So you got to be good with yourself to let this whole process happen. You got to accept, process, and then
I like where you're going with this, because you also have to repeatedly accept it to be comfortable enough for the output to be in the same vein, in the same up to the standards of the muse.
And there's this false reality, this false belief that people think, oh, the artist is this brooding, sad individual.
Right.
He's got to be through pain to make art. And I say, okay, you have to be in pain to make art, but you have to recover from the pain to release the art.
Interesting.
You can't just be a painful, sad artist. You need to live through the art, the social myth.
Okay.
Where the artist plus sadness
that was a fun one, Poach. You did that perfect.
Equals great art.
So read that to us again. Artist plus sadness equals great art.
Yep, so the societal myth is that artist plus sadness equals great art.
Dope, yep.
The reality is artist plus sadness equals just a sad artist sitting in his bed.
Oh, that's so good.
Like there is no art from art. Like the truth is that the content, happy artist, after going through his struggle, he's good now. He's come full circle. Now he can release his art, what he's experienced.
Yeah, there's too much noise in the way. It's a communication stream being blocked by noise. It's like you got headphones on when the muse is knocking at your front door.
Wow.
But you're listening to the thoughts about how terrible your art is going to be.
And they'll all say, you should be, you're in pain. You're a suffering artist. This is what you want. No.
Yeah.
No, the artist has
suffer to be good.
Recovered from the pain. He's recovered from the pain, and now he can create art.
I gotta say, I really like that. That hits home, man.
Yeah.
I never have seen it in those terms, but that's so true. You're not gonna create while you're fucked up. You're not gonna create while your world is crashing in on you, but you take the lessons that you've learned. You take the experience, you take the feeling, and you transmute it, if you will. Oh my God. Yeah, that's so true. I think even myself, being a fake artist of sorts, I think I fall into that as well. It's like, you gotta feel a lot. You gotta, and you do have to experience, but it's not the experiencing. In the moment, you're afraid. You feel the emotions. You feel the real emotions. You're afraid. You're scared. You're nervous.
You don't want to make art.
You don't want to make. That's the last thing in your mind. A fucking painting.
You want to get
you
out.
don't pick up no paintbrush. You want to get the fuck out with your life.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so real. If you've ever lived any type of life, folks, if you've ever lived any type of life, you felt that. But then afterwards, if you're not a little bitch and you could let it in. To analyze it, perhaps, you know, the people who aren't into spirituality as much, you want to analyze that experience. You want to accept it in, take it in, and be able to, especially if it's a negative experience, change it into something positive.
And today, it's a lot harder to go through that process you described. And I'll bring up this meme to say why. So the life of an artist in 1985 and 2022. You have this little wedge of creating art, but in 1985 you have sex, drugs, and rock and roll fill it. So you have experience, real experience. In 2022, that wedge is replaced by social media. So there's there is no experience, but you still try to create, you still try to go through that same process you just described. But where is your input? This is what your muse has to work off of in 2022 now.
You're on a roll, right? Because what I take from this, let me know what you think, is that it's not experience, it's the pale imitation of an experience. The sex, drug, and rock and roll, that's the experience. Now we look at someone experiencing.
It's watching.
We pretend, watch experience.
And that kills the process that you described of it having to go through you.
Wow, and that certainly comes across in the art that I've seen. Very derivative, very dry, very safe.
Right, and maybe the art you see is you're less motivated to make the art you want because you think it's too closely related to art that's already out there, because there's so much more visibility to art now because of the internet.
Say that again. You said it's
to the best meme. I think this meme will explain exactly what Evan just said. AI artists, or artists now and artists then. And this dude says, I asked AI to draw a dog, and they're so impressed. And then this dude is like, I carved this with my bare hands. And he's just looking, not saying anything.
Wow. Dude, this is so deep. This is as deep as it gets. Yeah, I don't get it. The dude crafted everything. Have you seen Michelangelo carving David? Dude, he has the little veins in the hand.
And no one cared. And no one said anything.
Nobody gave a shit, dude.
Look at that Roman guy just looking, just like, huh.
Bro, this feels like the nature of grace. This feels like the nature. You have to die to be appreciated. Because those who are actually dope do things. And those who are doing things are special. They are not part of the chaff. They are the wheat that is separated from the chaff. They are the thing. They are the fruit. But everything else looks upon it and they don't understand. Until the person dies, then they pretend to understand.
Die or know the value of life, because what AI art is basically a collection of all art that's ever existed, you know, and just randomized to create an image. But it's really humans that made the art,
right?
Incrementally up to this point where now AI art exists.
And now it calls everything art. Everything on the internet is now called art.
Yep.
There could be a photo of, I don't know, Abraham Lincoln. That's art. Like, it's just a picture on the internet. It's information. It's not art. I'll say that. It's not art. It's information. It's anything that they could find on the internet.
A portrait.
Yeah. A portrait.
That a device did.
Yeah, it could straight up be a photograph.
So camera was the first AI.
I like it. Whoa, stealing reality?
Yeah.
It was the first plagiarist.
Right.
Whoa.
Stole a point in time.
They say that all art is theft.
Oh, you don't say?
Yeah. Going through the process of being an artist, there involves a lot of theft, of stealing other people's ideas.
Yeah.
And you have to just accept it. That's just what art is.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, stealing someone's art, I don't mean like painting exactly the Mona Lisa with different colors. I mean like, oh, I'm going to use these brush strokes in my thing. I'm going to use that shadow, you know, in my thing. I'm going to use the way he draws hats on my portrait of this
And if
guy.
you're not stealing from Michelangelo, you're stealing from God. There's
There you
even a
go.
great book called How to Steal Like an Artist.
There you go.
And that's what it is. It's borrowing. It's what do they call it? Influence. You're influenced by this person. He is one of your mentors because something moves you. To be an artist, would you say you have to be moved by things? Would you have to appreciate beauty? Yes. So when you see it, you recognize it. And God, Poach, how many times have you seen a great painting or listened to a beautiful song and said, God, I am jealous? The first thing off the bat is, I'm jealous of that. Oh, that is good. This dude created that, a mere mortal. If only I could create David.
All the time.
And the paints, at the time, they made their own paint, too. So that was real drive to get your material. You didn't
That's
just
why
go
this
to the
guy's not
store.
impressed. Look at this
Damn.
Roman. This Roman's like, that's okay, cool.
And you know what? This is deeper even than that because I think
Look
that
at this guy.
that guy might even be sad, dude. Because when you see a beautiful woman that you could never get rid of that.
I don't know what that was.
When you see a yeah, if you could get rid of that somehow. Let me finish that thing.
Sorry.
When
Go
you
ahead.
see a beautiful woman that you could never get, or you see a piece of art that you could never create, it is the muse in a
Sadness.
way. It's the
Yeah.
sadness that comes upon you. And then even more than the art itself, the beauty, that's why it inspires awe and inspires art itself. Art inspires other work from the original artist, God.
Oh, Mitch, so you're saying that you could, the muse, oh my God, I think I know what you're saying.
Uh-huh.
The muse might even just jump from another artist's work through you
Oh.
and you spit it out your way.
The spirits!
Muse jumping from artist to artist.
Man.
So is art the closest thing to the divine?
Dude, it almost feels like that's how it's meant to go. Like art is a spirit that is meant to be passed, and there is a procedure involved. You must be attached to it.
And why would we be able to do it if it wasn't divine? It's something that represents only humans can do.
I think we realize that the muse has more going for us than we ever imagined.
God, that's a deep one, Poach. But you know what else is deep? 2,500-year-old ancient Chinese scripture that I've recently translated. In this week's Mitch Translates the Tao. That was a hot
See how things work out when you write them down. Seriously, though.
Little preparation go a long way, let me tell you. Mitch Translates the Tao, chapter 24. He who stands on tiptoes does not stand firm. He who strides does not go. He who displays himself does not shine. He who affirms himself does not manifest. He who boasts of himself does not achieve. He who esteems himself does not develop. From the place of Tao, this is like having extra food or superfluous form. His being becomes evil, and the Tao is not with him.
The Tao is so paradoxical that you almost don't even want to talk about it because you know you don't have it.
Almost like that's the point, right?
Yeah.
That's so deep. I love
It's
that.
like I don't
How
feel
could we
honored
talk
to talk
about
about
it?
this because the moment I do, I'll never understand it.
How do I feel capable of discussing a undiscussable topic?
Because it's like, oh man, I would love to have the Tao, and it's like it's already too late in that moment.
Oh, wow,
I'd
that's
love
a
to be
deep
part
one.
of that, but as soon
That
as
might
I
be the most
exclaim it-
Tao analysis you've ever given. Oh, that's so deep. Heck yeah. A few notes here, right? He who strides. It's almost as if standing astride. You're not going. You are pretending that you're going. You are giving the impression of going. He who esteems himself does not develop. It's almost as if he does not endure. He is not for a long time. He is not here. And then, of course, having extra food, superfluous form, it's like a tumor. Why do you have extra food? You could give it away. You could sell it. You could start a business. There's no point of having extra food? It only leads to negative things.
Breaking
Gluttony,
your back with all that food.
it's so true. Well put. By putting yourself on display, you are displayed. You have chosen to be in the spotlight. The spotlight isn't for those who choose themselves. It's almost for others to put the spotlight on their focus of attention. Whoa. Is that deep?
Whoa.
You're not looking in a mirror, you're looking out. The whole definition of a spotlight is I'm the spotlight, you're the star. I have to see you. I can't put the spotlight on myself.
So then how would you explain to somebody if they want to shine? How is that possible?
I think that the question is wrong off the bat. You can't.
You passed the test.
You sound like a down motherfucker. Son of a bitch, I'm in.
Right, because and that's what I got when I'm reading. It's like, wow, everything on that list I would like to be, but I'm like, I can't do it.
Wow.
I just said it. I would love to shine.
And like that, we have learned from the Tao, chapter 24. And unless Poj has something to say, I'll bring it to an end.
I don't know if you're going to want to keep what I say, but I want to say that I'm getting mad at the Tao.
Bro, it's fucking bullshit. We don't need that shit.
That is the beginning of understanding the Tao. First you become angry.
So you can keep going with it.
And that brings our show, episode 42, to a close. Thank you for watching. Guys, break the conditioning and return to ancient wisdom.